Hello everyone. In this video I like to give an explanation of the thought process behind the 4th level in my Secret of the Blank Dungeon hold. Which, as you can probably tell as a pattern now, would be a tribute to the 6th and 7th levels of the official Journey to Rooted hold. In this level, solving directly from the entrance would be near impossible. So instead, you head off to an adjacent room, and then head back like so.
The wisp will find you, the hook will follow.
Know also as trivia that I made the Slayer make a classic rock reference as soon as you start the level, because of how it is literally a jungle, and Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses is a famous song. Although the reference is probably obvious to many, and probably feels awkward in retrospect. But at the time, I did think it was a fine reference.
I'll be alone shortly.
But, back to the room. You clear the roach queens like normal with the Slayer chasing you. And you use the pits formed by the trapdoors as cover. Because if you did not, you would get overwhelmed and the room would be impossible to solve.
Cut me if you can.
Clear!
Also in retrospect, the invisibility potions are basically useless because of how you have to clear the room without them. But at the time, I thought that you could somehow drop the trapdoors first and then get the invisibility potions after. Although I'm not sure why now. The room once west, you also have to use an alternative entrance for.
Wait there, I'll be alone shortly.
In particular, you have to wake up the evil eyes first, and only first, before you take the invisibility potion. Because if you take the invisibility potion first instead, you could not wake up the eyes. But the good news is, once you take the invisibility potion, A, the Slayer cannot see you, and B, the roaches cannot see you either, so you can deal with the horde in a much more easy manner, as nothing will move until you are very close to it. This particular room is more of a tribute to the 6th level rather than the 7th level, as there are no invisibility potions.
Wait there, shortly.
And it's a mindless hack and slash room, where you break down crumbly walls and destroy rock columns. Although it's not entirely mindless because the rock columns leave behind polyos when you kill them, so you have to be careful about how to organize it so that the piles do not get in your way. As you can tell, the space in between the main area is very narrow. And of course, I have the Slayer because he is much more of a threat than any other rooms, as the areas are much more narrower where you fight all. This room is much more of a puzzle and less of a hack and slash room like the other ones. In particular, you are force-fed invisibility potion right away, but you use it to your advantage to lure the roaches into traps. And the places where you release the traps, you can only do it one time because there are trapdoors. As you can tell, the Slayer chases you per usual, and as all the rooms do.
Prepare for your removal.
So you have to figure out some way to manipulate him so that he is no longer in your way before you can officially clear the room. This room is a direct tribute to one of the puzzles employed in the 7th level of the official hold.
Keep running till
In particular, where you use the invisibility to your advantage to make the roach queens spawn roaches in a trap, so that the roach queen is prevented from getting in the trap herself. Because without the roaches, the roach queen would run further into the trap and it'd be unreachable.
This maneuver I've seen.
Note how you have to do it in both halves of the room and not just once. The rest of the room is just a basic cleanup. This room is a tribute to another room in the 7th level as well. In particular, you are force fed an invisibility potion, and you use it to your advantage so that the roach queens do not run off the trapdoors and start spawning roaches, making your life tough. Although, as you can tell, some of the roach queens cannot be prevented from running off, so instead you would just have to time your movements so that they do not spawn roaches while off the trapdoors. Although, in the original room, it was much more puzzly than this, and the solution wasn't as straightforward. Because I want to make this hold more combat oriented, I chose to forego the puzzle element. And I also added rock golems, as a reference to it being a tribute to the 6th level of the hold. Although here, because of the lower quantity of them, there is not as much of a part of the puzzle as they were as in 1 South and 1 West, for example.
Careful, the hook is sharp.
Note that the Slayer has to be manipulated again, just like in 1 South. This room is a tribute to the room where you first meet the pit thing in the 7th level, although here, there are invisibility potions and roach queens instead of just evil eyes, like in the original hold.
Keep running, Delver.
Here, I changed the pit thing to be the embodiment of chaos itself, because I feel that more accurately describes what he is. Note, as part of the puzzle, I force you to take a specific route at the beginning, because if you took any other route, you would wake up too much evil eyes, and you would die as soon as you entered this area. Note as well that I encourage the player to be careful about their timing and when they take the invisibility potions, so that they do not get bombarded by too many roaches, just like in the other ones. Finally, in the exit room, the blue door goes down, and I intentionally designed it so that it was impossible to solve before the blue door goes down.
Wait there.
So now that the blue door is down, you take the invisibility potion, which prevents the Slayer from cornering you, at the orb that opens the exit. And I also gave him dialogue, similar to dialogue in the official 7th level of the hold. Although the tone of the original dialogue was more a surprise, in this one, it is him continuing to try to threaten you. Although Beethel makes it clear he's not having any of it. Now that I've given you a running commentary on my thought process behind the 4th level of my hold, I can talk about the thought process behind the 5th level of my hold in my next video. See you then.